Hi, this is BK Black Krishna for manfulwars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help nice ladies and gents teach kids, look, talk, and feel great, and locally discuss and share tons of great online information offline to be nice, helpful people making more and improving where they live. So check out the manfulwars.com website. There are donation links below when it comes to PayPal or direct deposit. And feel free to get in touch with any questions or answers or suggestions or to work together and so on, because I've got some good ideas, and I'm one of the only people I know who's really on this. The online information war is going well, sort of. People are getting herded more into digital ghettos and fractured by looking at different things, so it's sort of hard to communicate. But offline, a lot of that is being shut down, and yet with so many great people online, thousands of great people online, possibly millions doing great work, and then millions and millions or tens of millions or even billions of people online consuming that work. If there's a way they can make sure that people are nice enough to talk offline and then communicate well and promote be nice, everyone likes it, and then get bad guys, so the few people that want to can help other people deal with what bad guys are up to, sort of generally worldwide, and then specifically where you live. Then you can make some moves as more informed and empowered people, making where you live better, saving your country as nationalists versus globalism, and so on. So manfulwars.com for more on that. But this video is called Social Media Sock Puppets. Are you talking to robots online who control how you feel? Social Media Sock Puppets. Are you talking to robots online who control how you feel? And I'm very suspicious of social media. I have been since the beginning. I used to have a radio show way back in the day when sort of Twitter first started. And I used to make fun because, I'm old enough to remember what the word twit means. And I might be dating myself, but I clearly think I'm worth it. So if I am dating myself, I'm dating myself. It's not that bad. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, doesn't. But I'm old enough to remember what the word twit means, in the sense that it meant you were stupid. Sort of like you would say stupid twit, to sort of, they both mean stupid. And then twit and twitter, and I'm not saying that is like everything. It's like, well, see, that proves everything. But I'm just saying, as sort of a big in-joke by our tech overlords or the evil people above them who design how to control us, that might be part of how they have fun and wink to each other and say, look what we got the idiots doing. They're twitting and tweeting like little birds. You see that? Like little birds that can barely talk and just go beep, 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 beep. Not, hey, how's it going? Let's sit down and have a conversation where I express myself as a unique individual using, full sentences and possibly even, little paragraphs and possibly even longer paragraphs to explain how I, as a unique individual, a once in a lifetime, snowflake, not a snowflake in the sense of being, a freak out social justice warrior wimp, but in terms of being a unique individual, as a once in a lifetime creature on planet Earth, one of God's children, or however you want to see that, this is how I feel, right? And this is how I feel, and I want to hear how you feel, and I want to hear, what you think, and you want to hear what I think, and it's different. And my buddy, a good friend of mine, he said once, conversations are best when both parties evolve, and that is much better when people are speaking in, fuller sentences and so on. And now today, I've had, we're encouraged to say less about less. And social media is a big part of that, where you've got little snarky, bitchy blurts, little sentence fragments, now the use of emojis where, here's my sad face. In fact, all 8 billion people in the world have the same sad face. This is my happy face. It's like, wait a minute. So are you a unique individual, or do all 5, 6, 7, 8 billion people, or 1 billion, 2 billion on, 3 billion, 4 billion online, do we all have the same face? The same, we're supposed to speak like happy face about this, sad face about that. That's my comment, right? And that's not the way people talk, right? That's not the way people express themselves. That's not the way people, communicate well, right? And yet we're encouraged to say less about less. And so even if you do something good, a lot of the feedback you get is crap, or the feedback you offer is crap. But then again, if you say too much, who wants to read it? Our attention spans are shortening. They say back in 2000, our attention spans were around 12 seconds. And now our attention spans are 8 seconds, or as of 2013, it was 8 seconds. It's probably worse now. And a goldfish attention span is 9 seconds. So we have lower attention spans than goldfish. And they say online you've got 3 to 5 seconds to make an impression, or we're clicking on something else, right? And the fact there's lots of studies on this, the studies of the dangers of social media for adults and kids causing depression and so on and so forth. And you got to think, if you're a hot girl and, you're, taking the time to sort of, pose the perfect Instagram, make the perfect fish face, squish the boobs together to make the perfect cleavage or whatever the hell you're doing, right? And then you get on your Instagram account and you've got, a bunch of sentence fragments, or you've got a bunch of emoji happy faces, or, tongue out, or so hot girl, or ooh, love it. That's crap, right? That's why I'm promoting polite patriotism, so nice ladies and gents can look, talk, and feel great, because part of that is being confident, masculine, and feminine human beings, because I've seen some stuff on Instagram. I don't do it often. I don't have an account myself, but I find it boring, annoying, right? That Tinder, I find kind of gross, this swipe, 300 times. Man, I hope one of these bitches says yes, It's like, that's not how you build a relationship. How you build a relationship is by being nice, polite, ladies and gents. Most people straight, great at it. Others LGBT, whatever, fit in fine, or F off, you're a jerk, straight or not. And then you build that chemistry, right? So instead of Instagram, I've got gentleman with a lady, right? Where if it's appropriate, and if we're nice to each other, politely acknowledge, and then avoid, done. I'm out. Acknowledged you, indicate I wasn't going to bother you, avoided you. We're good. She's still there and might be curious, attention, reassure you. Nope, totally cool. Not planning on bothering you at all, right? Acknowledgement, avoidance, reassurance. And then if that acknowledgement and avoidance and reassurance goes well, then possibly flattery. She relaxes. Oh, okay, so you're not going to bother me? You're that kind of guy? Fine, I'm going to be cute and attractive near you and share a little something, and we can just keep it moving, right? Like when you're out of the way and on your way or whatever, right? But again, acknowledgement, avoidance. And if there's no reassurance or flattery, done. No big deal. The next girl that sees that, these little bumblebees, can kind of look everywhere. They don't move as fast as guys, and they got to worry about more. So they have to take a snapshot of everything where they are, and then lock that, and be like, okay, am I cool here? I'm cool here. Good. Do I have to be uptight here? Uptight here. Can I be nice here? What do I do? Right? So, some gorgeous 6-foot-tall supermodel, same thing. Acknowledgement, avoidance. She might be like, you're not gawking at me? No, if I go and act like a creeper, you're just going to shrink up. You're going to be just, I feel bad. You'll feel bad. You'll be technically hot. But just like watching a stripper on stage, if she's not into it, she's boring. She might be hot. She might be naked. But buddies and I have been to strip clubs. And we're like, yeah, she's not into it. She's boring. We're bored. We're just doing something else. We're talking to each other. Whereas the other girl, even if she's not as hot, if she's into being attractive up there, totally captivating, right? And that's in a strip club environment, and that's generally speaking, out there in the real world, right? Now, the destruction of gender, the gender confusion, guys being brainwashed to act like rude, ugly girls, and then to making other guys busting their balls like pretend ugly, sketchy, bitchy girlfriends, getting embarrassed, lying and arguing to make sure they can force you to put up with them, and then making other people put up with and act like that, other guys, women, children, and then not respecting each other enough and just running away from each other and bothering strangers like poor mentally ill homeless people, and making everyone sort of do that. That's an epidemic, and I've got a ton of video documentation, especially over the last 2 years in Toronto, Canada, where it's all clearly laid out. It's not just me making it up. You can see it, me saying stuff about it, people doing it, me ignoring it, people doing it, me filming it, people doing it, me filming it with me, in the shot and pointing at it. See them doing it, right? And see how they feel about it. Lying bitches begging to be broken, acting stupid, get off me, ignored by a man who's not paying attention or crapping on it, right? That's some of the brainwashing offline. And that makes the Instagram stuff sort of the thing to do, or the Tinder stuff sort of the thing to do. Whereas, at polite people, I'm just nice and this and that, and ignore the 6-foot-tall hot supermodel, and then the next girl sees, wow, look at how nice that guy was to that hot girl. Didn't be a creep, didn't whatever. And the next one shares more, and she's more attractive with me, and she sees I'm a nice guy. And again, not wasting her time, not wasting my time, just making it stand still for a second, like a 3D Instagram photo, and then gone, right? So if you make it stand still, who's wasting anybody's time? And if you feel like it, and I feel like it, and it puts us both in a good mood, no big deal, right? So that's the 3D version of Instagram that Instagram is replacing. And one of the reasons you'd feel so miserable is the 3D stuff is going with guys sheepish sideways and girls and people worked up. Put up with me. No, put up with me. No, I totally know what you're doing. Pay attention. No, nobody can be happy near me. No. Oh yeah. Totally fake, acting fake and sketchy and bitchy, right? And all that crap, right? So you can't. You're just sort of frigid, right? I was even at a place. I was at a meat shop with my buddy, and there was a young girl there, and she was hot, right? She's maybe of age, but maybe 19, 20, 21, early college girl. And she was just coming back from playing tennis or whatever. And she was there with her mom at the store. And she was wearing really short shorts, up to her butt crack short shorts, right? My buddy, he's my buddy, but I check guys when they mess with girls a little bit. My buddy was like, holy crap, man, look at the shorts she's wearing, right? Wow. And I just looked at him. I was like, yeah, I noticed, but I'm not going to, don't say anything. Because she's just going to get all frigid, right? Whereas if you're cool and you don't feel like you really care and you're not going to bother her, then she'll share more with you as an attractive girl dressed in an attractive way. She'll be attractive near you as opposed to frigid near you. Hot girl, but frigid, just shoulders scrunched up, scared. Sorry you even noticed me, you creep, right? As opposed to, I don't care, babe. It's all good. Oh, you don't care? Well, I'll make you care then. And then the girls can kind of turn it on a bit, knowing that you're not going to bother them. And the point is just to be nice to each other, right? So you not bothering them by being nice and not caring, and then them caring about their don't care, like, whatever, I'm just walking by. It's not that big a deal, is it? Or is it? Or isn't it? Right? And then that sort of thing is something that's going today. The classic beer commercials where you'd get 4 guys on a beach, and I'm not dating myself when it comes to these beer commercials, but again, I'm worth it, and it's worth it to understand these things, where 4 guys, so hot on a beach, so hot on a beach, and then 4 girls walk by, and they're like, oh, look at those 4 guys. They seem like they're cool, and they're chilling, they're not doing anything. Let's just walk by real slow. Move slower, not faster to force you to put up with me, slower to feel comfortable near you and give you a better look at how I look and how I carry myself. And the guys sitting there on the beach, oh, so hot, so hot. Whoa, look up at the girls, pull your sunglasses down a bit. The girls kind of get confident. Okay, the guys aren't moving much. They're kind of stunned by us because we're kind of stunning. And then pull down the shades a bit. The girls like, hee. And they just kind of care about their don't care. Oh, whatever. These boys are so silly. And they walk by and they kind of strut by as sexy girls. And the guy's just like, whoa, check out those hot girls, walking by, right? And they put their sunglasses back on. They clink their beers together. Bud Light. It's a great beer. It's nice to get drunk and hang out on the beach and check out hot girls who want to walk by nice guys and get checked out. Clink, right? That's sort of being replaced with the sort of way people are acting today by stuff like Instagram. And it's not fulfilling, right? It's not fulfilling to sort of take pictures of yourself and then have a bunch of thirsty, needy, creepy guys, barely commenting on your, oh, I love your bum, oh, this, or emojis, hearts, exclamation marks, little snarky, bitchy comments, right? As opposed to in 3D, either not saying anything, or finding a clever way to say something, like former talk show host Craig Ferguson, who, middle-aged guy, charming, good-looking guy, but not super whatever, but he had an incredible way with women that is still being celebrated to this very day, even though a lot of his shows are like 10-plus years old, because women would come on his show and say, you are the middle-aged guy to flirt with. You are the man to flirt with. And, he would find some ways to, be a man. I'm not putting up with this young lady and be totally enraptured. Wow. No. Could you put those away, please? I can't think. Oh, stop it. Because they're nice to each other, you can get away with these type of cheeky comments, right? Or I've said, to girls, right? A lot of times, they don't want to talk about being attractive, but they don't mind if guys, if they're nice, say something to them or whistle at them. They say construction workers, holler at girls or whistle at girls, but I think the girls started it. I think the guy was just hammering something, trying not to break his thumb while he was hammering something. And some cute, hot, bored girl just walking by the construction site, she just slowed down and got his attention, and he kind of looked up and went, whoa. Then she kind of cared about her don't care and spun around in a circle and made her dress go up a little bit and then walked away. And he was like, woo, you know, right? And she was like, hee, you know, and so they're both happy, right? Not like, must have sex with every hot girl I see. It's like, you idiot. You go to a club, there's 2,000 hot girls there. They're going to have sex with all. Can't you just be happy they're there and attractive and you're cool and they're attractive near you or whatever? Like, that's the point, right? So, you know, all that is being threatened now by guys acting like jealous, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls and busting each other's balls and jealously harassing girls when they won't look at each other much and making everyone put up with and act like them. And so you got to replace with online crap, right? So Instagram and the comments on Instagram and who's making those comments on Instagram, right, is a thing. And even Twitter. Right? Little tweets, you know, this is how you're supposed to say things. You're supposed to comment on things. Now, it can be used well. I'm not saying it can never be used well. But generally, over time, it reduces our attention span. It reduces our ability to communicate in depth with each other. And that causes more and more problems, right? Then people say less and less about less and less to each other and then wonder why they feel lonely. Well, you feel lonely because you're not talking to each other. You're not really talking, right? That's why you feel lonely. Right? If you were really talking, people were really talking to you, you were talking to them, you were listening to each other, right? It was really you talking, then you wouldn't feel lonely, right? But if it's just, you know, little whatever, then it's a lot worse, right? And even text messaging. You know, I've gotten into some arguments with people I know about some texts, and with close friends of mine, sometimes we'll send long texts, right? It's not long texts, one long text after another. It's like almost like the way we used to use email, right? Where you kind of get everything done in that text. You might get a response that gets everything done, and then you can go back to whatever you're doing. Right? As opposed to the little back and forth, little snarky back and forth, little whatever. And, you know, I've had people say, oh, I can't believe you sent such a long text. Oh my God, what are you doing? This and that. And I was like, look, I care about you. I want you to care about me. And this is a fully formed thought, right? And if you read what a long text is like today, it could take as long as 20 seconds. 20 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds to read that whole text, right? 20, 30 seconds. Now, if you compare the way people used to talk and the way they talk when they like each other, and you can watch movies if you want, you can look up YouTube videos, you can see, you know, you can, whatever, how people actually talk. Having conversations where you talk for 10, 20, 30 seconds to make your point and express yourself. So it's kind of got everything you feel about something, not everything, but a lot of what you feel about something, and and then they pass it back and forth. That's perfectly normal, right? But with texting, it could be, hey, this, that, blah, blah, right? Or Tinder, right? There's Tinder competitions to sort of say, how can you have sex with a girl by saying as little as possible, right? You might DM, you know, here's a pizza emoji and a little TV emoji. You know, Netflix, pizza, you know, that's it. Be cool, be cool, be cool. You know how these girls are, right? They want to make sure that you don't care too much, so they're caught up with some crazy person who's obsessed with them or killer or you're a wussy or whatever. So be cool, be cool, be cool, right? Just let her vibe on that. She's going, well, I do like to eat and watch Netflix and eat pizza, and you seem like a cool guy who's not all over me and all up and this and that and all really super interested in whatever. So, okay, sure, right? And so guys will brag, right? There's a great Vanity Fair article on the Tinder dating apocalypse that talks about this. You can find it at my Man for War's website in the Respect section, or Google Vanity Fair Tinder dating apocalypse to see this amazing article of a bunch of people, mostly in their 20s, in New York and other places, but I think mainly in New York, complaining about Tinder and yet furiously using Tinder. Even at a bar. They're at a bar with all their friends and they're swiping on Tinder, right? guys complaining, girls complaining, girls complaining more than guys, but guys complaining too, because even though guys can be like, hey, high five, it cost me less than $20 to have sex with that girl. Well, it doesn't make you much, it doesn't make her much when it comes to that process, so nobody's happy, right? And having sex with strangers and so on. Whereas, as opposed to Tinder, when people are nice, polite ladies and gentlemen, it's easy to be nice to each other. And then when you're nice to each other and there is that chemistry, that physical chemistry of being near each other, you can ask that question, right? I was hanging out with a buddy of mine somewhere. We went to see something. He wanted to show me some store. There's an attractive girl there behind the counter, and she was just attractive and friendly and whatever. And I happened to be in the mood because I caught a good vibe from her. And I asked her, sort of out, as it were, right? Just because of that. And she's like, oh, no, sorry. I've been with my boyfriend for like, or I've got a boyfriend. I'm like, oh, really? Geez, a girl like you could use a man friend. You seem like a real special woman. Like you need. No, I'm just joking. Now, how long have you guys been together? And she goes, oh, he 4 years. I'm like, great, happy for you, fantastic. Hope you don't mind, that I found you attractive and that, I thought we had good chemistry and I wanted to ask you out. But if you're with someone, they're a lucky guy and I hope you both are happy. She's like, oh, no, it's totally fine. It's totally flattering, right? As long as we're nice to each other, who cares? And I was like, great, no problem. My ego fine, her ego fine, nothing weird about it or whatever, right? And I've done this, Subway, seen a girl, I noticed her, whatever. She didn't mind, being noticed. Nice guy. I noticed her in a nice way, kind of shy to let her be confident about me being impressed by her. And then, she gets off at a stop. I get off at that stop. I approach her. I say, hey, excuse me. Yeah, look, I may never see you again. I think you're beautiful. I love the way you carry yourself. Can I get your number? Can I take you out sometimes? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But when you're nice, ladies and gentlemen, you do that stuff in 3D, right? And you could even flirt. I'm at a Starbucks coffee shop. Gorgeous brunette nearby, just stunning, dressed up, gorgeous, right? Me, polite, busy man, not weak, lying, bitchy man like Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, fake feminist, slimy, just says all the things a girl do, complaining about men, hates himself, hates them, and then rapes them. Not Trudeau per se, but that's what fake feminist, miserable, weak, lying, bitchy men do. Me, no, polite, busy guy, and a polite, busy, but also gracefully distracting girl. I noticed her. Chilling. She liked being noticed, so I could notice her again, chilling. And then I took a break from my laptop. I went over to her and I said, hey, you want to do, excuse me, I just noticed you sitting here by yourself and you seem like a nice, attractive girl. Do you want to just do 5 minutes with a stranger? I just want to take a break from my laptop. And thought, yeah, we're both in Toronto. We're both at the Starbucks house party chilling. So, why not? And she looked at me, and because we'd interacted in a friendly way before, she was comfortable with me joining her. And with me kind of sitting with her for a bit. And so we started chatting for a bit and this and that. And so as she's chatting and she's flirty and she's sexy and she's fun, I'm like, okay, she's having fun being a fun, hot girl with me. Let me start make the conversation a bit more so. Can we go somewhere with this or what, right? Just, there, 5 minutes, whatever. I just feel like it, right? And then she brings out my boyfriend and I, ow, and I feel like I got hit by a cattle prod. My boyfriend, ow, my boyfriend, ow, my boyfriend, ow, my boyfriend, ow, right? And so I was like, okay, cool, change your tenor a bit, but still friendly. She's still friendly with me. I'm still friendly with her. And then, so I say, how long have you been going out? And she goes, oh, like 4 years. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, or whatever, different girl. And I said, nice to meet you, and she's nice to meet you too, friendly with each other, no big deal. And I realized this is just a girl in her early 20s, right? Early 20s. She's been with a guy for a few years, and she wants to feel like a young, sexy, fun, hot girl with some nice guy. And I happen to be a guy who could do that with her. So I got some benefit from it, and she got some benefit from it, and we're good, right? And there have been other times where I've actually gone out on dates, and my typical date is, I don't like this whole idea of let's get together, Tinder date, and let's put a lot of pressure on us to hang out for 2, 3, 4 hours or come up for the weekend or whatever. My ideal first date is get together at a place like a coffee shop, right? maybe closer to her place or whatever, spare her some inconvenience, and just get together for a half an hour and see if we have that type of chemistry one-on-one in a limited situation, right? Where we're there, we're only planning on being there for half an hour, not wasting a lot of my time, not wasting a lot of her time. Works out great, doesn't work out, no big deal, right? And so, in one case, I was on the Danforth, and I went to a coffee shop there. I met this beautiful girl there. And I'd met her at some concert with a bunch of other mutual friends around, and she was a friend of a friend or something. So kind of got the digits and info and kind of got along in a group setting. And I wanted to meet up with her sort of one-on-one. And she was, whatever. And I don't know what else was going on in her life. I don't know if there's some other guy there or whatever, just me, whatever. But within 5 minutes, I could tell that she didn't want to talk to me that much and wasn't that interested. And I was just trying to be cool, but I'm not no fool. Unless it's mine, it's not mine. So I just trying to feel out if we get along fine. That's it, right? So after about 5 minutes, I just said to her, hey, do you want me to just grab the coffees and we can go? She looked at me like, what, really? And I said, yeah, I just, it seemed, you seem like a great girl. I know I'm a great guy. So we just might not be great for each other. So I'll get the coffees. I'll get the $5 worth of coffees. And, I'll wish you well and hope you find somebody, you get along with great. And she goes, really? I was like, yeah, absolutely. 5 minutes, right? Under 10 minutes anyway. I think it was around 5 minutes. I was like, that's it. We're good. I know what I need to know, And she was like, wow, she was really happy. She was happy that I was a gentleman like that. And I was going to drag her through half an hour or an hour. And she was going to be nice and have to put up with it, but still not feel, and I couldn't tell she wasn't feeling good. And I was going to make her put up with it anyway because I'm a man and she's cute. It's like, no, screw that, right? And so she gave me a big hug. I wished her well, whatever. I'm good. She's good. Done. Other situation, half an hour at a Starbucks. Me get along with this other gorgeous girl. Next date at her apartment near there. Just me and her, already proved we can get along, got the chemistry, yada, yada, yada. And, she's got her head on my lap, and she's lying down, and I'm trying to fix some other shit some guy broke. And I've got one hand on her forehead, one hand on her bare stomach, and I'm doing some Reiki stuff where I'm sucking all the bad thoughts out of her head and all the knots out of her stomach, tightening her stomach. And that's a different second date after the first half an hour date, right? All of that is based on chemistry, which is being destroyed by a lot of the online communication. And that's why I'm stressing this point when it comes to Twitter and Tinder and texting and Snapchat and all that other stuff, right? Is that what you get isn't as much as what you lose, right? When it comes to normally being seen as attractive, right? The 3D Instagram that I get, which means it's just for me. It's just for me. This girl is sharing a little bit with me, not with like airbrushed picture, and then put it out there to, whatever, hundreds or thousands or millions of people. And then me being one of the guys, oh, so hot, can't believe it. It's like, no, that's just that, I don't mind if, attractive girls are out there and seeing a picture of one. But I get stuff for me, specifically, from some of the hottest girls in the world and in Toronto, Canada, right? It's the way I've moved. It's put us both in a good mood. Boom, right? I've worked at different places, worked at construction sites to help figure out guys, worked at strip clubs to help figure out girls. Not that all guys are construction workers and all girls are strippers, but there's a certain masculine and feminine essence that is in the construction world and in the strip club world. And, as part of that, it's the same damn thing, right? It's for me. You are sharing this with me. You are sharing a little bit of your tremendous feminine grace and beauty and power with me. And I feel good that I earned it by being a cool guy, and I validated you as being a nice, attractive girl, right? And that's what is kind of being stripped by some of these ways of communicating today and the ways people are acting. That's why I'm promoting polite patriotism. And so those are a bunch of warnings when it comes to social media and so on. So I recommend, when you're texting with your buddies, instead of, a bunch of short little snarky blurts back and forth or whatever, it can also make it hard to communicate. I had a buddy tell me about his buddy and his girlfriend, and they were yelling at each other, and then she couldn't take the yelling. And so he was like, she was like, I can't take this yelling at each other and arguing like this. And, and so, because they often text. So, my buddy's buddy gets on his motorcycle, drives to a nearby coffee shop, and sits there in the coffee shop, and he's texting, well, you said you'd do this and this and this. And the girl's texting back, I know, but this and this and this. And he's going, but this and this and this. And she's going, oh, but this. And that's insane. That's completely insane, right? I know with my girlfriends, right, when they've been sort of pushing me like that, and I've got my classic Marlon Brando from A Streetcar Named Desire, Stella, Stella, on with my girlfriends at the time, right? That's been when she's known that I care about her, right? Because I lost it like that over our argument, and she pushed me that far, and I flipped out, and I got all mad, had a Batman lantern jaw, looked all sexy. I mean, pissed off guys can be sexy. Pissed off girls, not so much. They make the models look pissed off because whatever. But cheerleaders are better. Cheerleaders are better for them, better for you, happier, but the pissed off, whatever. It's like, ugh, right? The pissed off guys, especially if they're pissed off for a good reason, can be sexy. And so, in that situation, to go, leave that argument and to go to a nearby coffee shop and to be furiously texting, that takes away from the ability for you to know how you feel and the lack of tone of voice and so on, right? And so, this was originally going to be about sock puppets, and I'll still add the sock puppet thing, but I wanted to kind of go over some of the dangers of social media, in terms of how you communicate, and to sort of provide some other options that hopefully are not lost, but that can remain options when it comes to how we communicate. But the title of this video is called Social Media Sock Puppets. Are you talking to robots online who control how you feel? Because the things I talked about happening when it comes to how people communicate and so on may be something that is part of a plan, right? So, I look, and this is the type of thing where once you hear this, you're supposed to never quite look at internet comments the same ever again, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or whatever. You can never quite look at these things the same way ever again once you learn about sock puppets when it comes to the internet term. So I do a Google search on sock puppet, and I did a second Google search to sort of corroborate this from stuff I learned a few years ago that's even more relevant today, because it might have been happening. Once you're like, oh my goodness, they might be doing this a few years ago. And then a few years later you can go, yep, they probably did that, and we're probably screwed up by it, and we should probably do something to not be screwed up by it, right? It says here, sock puppet, noun, from Google's own search. A simple hand puppet made from a sock, where you take a sock and you maybe glue on or stitch on some little eyes, and then you act like this is a mouth and whatever. So that's number one explanation. Number two is a false online identity, typically created by a person or group in order to promote their own opinions or views. So fake people online, robots or trolls or people, whatever, for some reason or other, who want to influence you but not be honest about it. So there's the first search from Google on sock puppet. And there's the sock puppet in terms of what you put on your hand, and you make little, fun, videos or plays out of. And then it gets into the Guardian. What's the difference between a troll and a sock puppet? What is a sock puppet on the internet? To argue, bully, or review products as another person. And again, it could be a real person, but with the shortening attention spans and the saying less and less about less and less, which is why I got all into that, they could be robots. You could go on Instagram or YouTube, and if you could say, cute pic chick, or you go girl, or whatever, those could be robots. Or even YouTube comments, this sucks, or it's this group or that group that sucks, and I'm, I want to stir up some divide and conquer division, whatever, right? You could be arguing when you're saying that little to each other with robots putting these out there. Not even people using fake identities or working for different subversive groups or whatever to kind of influence things, but literally artificial intelligence robots. It doesn't even have to be that developed unless you're saying a lot and you're communicating in full sentences and paragraphs and so on. It could literally be a robot blurting out little snarky, bitchy bits of crap that you're going back and forth with, right? Sock puppet accounts unmasked by the way they write and post from the New Scientist, and so on. So that's a search on Sock Puppet. Now I'm going to do another search, or I did another search, again, using Google, which they're corrupt and they hide things as well, but they're also one of the most comprehensive engines. And this is just for mass understanding. You can use Startpage, you can use DuckDuckGo, search engines that respect your privacy more than Google, and arguably don't mess with results with a political or other bias as much as Google. But Google's still very comprehensive, so it should still be in your back pocket somewhere because the technology is often better. And so, here is a Google search on Sock Puppet military. And it says, there you go, Operation Earnest, how the military uses Twitter sock puppets to control debate, March 2014, right? From Wikipedia, it says Operation Earnest Voice is an astroturfing campaign by the U.S. government. The aim of the initiative is to use sock puppets to spread pro-American propaganda. That's from Wikipedia. Pretty mainstream. How the military uses sock puppets to control debate. And this is from Contributoria, right? And that's from March 2014. Now, this is the big one, right? This is a mainstream media organization, and they often do a lot of good work, right? But a lot of the independent media uses the mainstream media. If they crap on the mainstream media for lying, they often use a lot of mainstream media. So it's like, well, how does that work? Alex Jones at InfoWars, yep, 70% of it is mainstream media. What is it? It's news that's often reported but not repeated. Rare news that's reported but not repeated. News that's reported and repeated everywhere is more likely propaganda. News that's reported but not repeated is often more likely to be true. That's why it's not, and possibly helpful to the cause of freedom as opposed to the cause of trying to control people. That's why it's not repeated everywhere. But there are still good journalists who work in these organizations, and they try and do good work, and they've got the expertise, they've got the resources, they've got the access, they've got the name. They can call saying, I'm calling from the New York Times. If you trust me, it'll get out to a lot of people, so tell me some secret stuff or whatever, and so on. So this is from The Guardian from May 17th, 2011, 8 years ago, revealed U.S. spy operation that manipulates social media, March 17th, 2011. So this is an example of an article that should be, or an article that should be something that is in all of our common understandings, because it was reported by the mainstream media, The Guardian in the United Kingdom, in England, the biggest, one of the biggest paper, if not the biggest paper in Europe. It's like the New York Times of Europe, where the New York Times is sort of the old gray lady, the flagship paper in the U.S., maybe them and the Washington Post, right, are the two of the major papers in the U.S. The Guardian is the major paper in England and certainly in Europe, right? And so from The Guardian, at theguardian.com, there it is. It says here, revealed, U.S. spy operation that manipulates social media. Military's sock puppet software creates fake online identities to spread pro-American propaganda. And they can do a lot more than that, depending on who they're working for. So you could have some people in the U.S. in the U.S. military that might be kind of decent, going, well, we need to counteract some anti-American stuff or whatever, and this is the right thing to do, even though it's kind of sneaky. And then you could have some, instead of sort of more white hat people on the inside, you could have some black hat people on the inside, intelligence operatives working for globalists and globalism to kind of subvert cultures, destroy and control cultures, instead of nationalists protecting where they live and their countries and their culture and borders and people and economy, making sure they're a cool place to live and visit, not getting it all screwed up so it can be subsumed into a world government under the United Nations and International Criminal Court and other organizations that's easier for super rich people to control when it comes to, yep, we now control the whole world. You can't defend your countries. There's only one government. It's ours, right? And there's lots of nationalism versus globalism, mainstream stuff out there now. But Nick Fielding and Ian Cobain, the U.S. military is developing software that will let it secretly manipulate social media sites by using fake online personas to influence internet conversations and spread pro-American propaganda. California Corporation has been awarded a contract with the United States Central Command, CENTCOM, which oversees operations in the Middle East and Asia, develop an online persona management service that will allow U.S. servicemen or women to control up to 10 separate identities based all over the world. So, basically with a robot or a computer program or artificial intelligence, you could be talking to one of 10 separate identities controlled by one person, pushing buttons, going, hey, I want to control this. And more broadly speaking, they can control the way people think and the way people feel, and by sort of rigging the algorithms, what is normal. So do people really want to kind of snark and bitch and freak out, right? Do they really want to do that? Or do they want to not do that? Well, if they want to do that, then they want to do that. But if they want to not do that, they can simply rig the algorithms, and they can have tons and tons of robots and artificial intelligence comments say, you know what, on this snarky, bitchy comment, we're going to flood it with artificial intelligence comments or sock puppets or robots or AI or people controlling various different identities that barely post. But they'll post a lot on your YouTube channel or your Instagram or your Twitter or whatever, and therefore that will be seen as seeming to be popular among a lot of people. Yet it may not be. It may be fake accounts, robots, whatever, right? So that's what I mean about that, right? And so there's more here from the star.com, Toronto Star. They reported on this as well, using the sort of Guardian article at around the same time in 2011. I was a Facebook sock puppet for the CIA from itworld.com. And you can say, no way, it's all crazy, it's conspiracy, it's whatever. Look, I'm just saying, that's why I'm not, counting on one thing. I'm saying the preponderance of evidence is that this sort of thing is happening, and we should guard against it. And this is just headlines from a Google search, right? U.S. military launches Operation Sock Puppet, pays contractor $2.76 million. This is all from 2011, and it goes on and on and on. And there's other people talking about it. There's mainstream media, independent media. This is just the first page of a Google search for sock puppet and military. And I wanted to make that point. That's why this video is called Social Media Sock Puppets. Are you talking to robots online who control how you feel? Because it means in a number of different ways. How you feel online, what is popular, what is not popular, how you feel when it comes to your emotional state using social media. Are you getting good feedback? Are you not getting good feedback? And then offline, how you communicate offline, right? Are you just speaking to nobody and everybody, just blah, throwing temper tantrums, like a baby crying in a mall, right? Are you doing that online when it comes to comments on YouTube channels or Instagram or Twitter or whatever? Just blah to everybody and to nobody and everybody in particular. And then that's online. And then offline, are you just trying to get attention from nobody and anybody in particular? Hey, pay attention to me. Anybody here not bothering people as much as I'm bothering people? Yeah, pay attention to me. Playing with my hair and bothering people. And wiping my nose, and yeah, you know how it is. Things suck, can't talk, so just pay attention to me acting sketchy. You know how it is. Yeah, just put up with me. Oh, just, I'm gonna run by and just try and get a little bit of attention. Oh, just move a little faster and run. Oh, get a little passive aggressive on you. Oh, did I bother you? Oh, sorry about that. I'm happy someone's paying attention to me at all, even though I bother you to get attention, and then I apologize. And oh, now I'm such a drama queen. It's like ugh, right? So this sort of gender neutral, lying, bitchy sketchiness that nobody likes, people are embarrassed about, and that, could turn us all into commie zombies who won't let anybody talk and kill millions, like, previous communist takeovers in Russia and China and other places have done, right? Is that part of what's happening as part of this process? That is my concern, right? So, social media sock puppets. Are you talking to robots online who control how you feel? The answer is probably, at least some of the time. And I hope this video helped clarify that. So again, BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. Feel free to comment, subscribe, get in touch, take any clips of this you want, chop them up and share them, and so on. Get in touch with questions or answers or financial support. There's PayPal links below and direct deposit links below, and happy to discuss other options. Because again, my goal is to help win the offline information war by helping people be nice, polite ladies and gents who teach kids to be, and then they're able to comfortably discuss and share great online information offline to help inform and empower people where they live as nice, helpful people, making more, making it normal, and kind of improving where they live or saving their country and so on. And there you have it. BK Black Krishna for manforwars.com. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.